got to do better with understanding investments because we don't.
Right. Call them me investments. Yeah, I'm worth it. I invested in everybody
Absolutely,
else.
absolutely. I'm telling you, and we don't have a problem like oh, well, a certain sector of the population, yeah, but they don't have a problem buying bundles and all
Right.
kinds of things. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So take that same money, invest in a business idea, find you a coach. Yes. Are we live? Oh, where? I don't see it. Oh, here we are. Okay, perfect. Excellent. I'm ready.
Dave, share it on my page too, Dave. I didn't get the chance to tell my people.
Bad with chewing gum.
Is that nervous energy or habit?
Habit. I figure chewing gum is my cigarette.
Okay. That's what's up.
Hi, everybody watching us on Facebook Live. We are broadcasting a new time today. Should I turn my phone all the way down? Hey, Ebony, I miss you, pumpkin.
Hope you get better.
Yeah, feel better, boo-boo.
Get well.
Hey, Sharetta, how are you, honey? Y'all make sure y'all share this video out with your network and with your Facebook peeps. Hey, Anya.
Stop. To come to an end, cease to happen. The denoting one or more people or things already mentioned or assumed. Silence. Complete absence of sound. Stop. Stop the silence. Stop the silence.
And good evening, everybody. It is Tamika L. Sims here. My amazing host, Ebony the Baby Jumper Dixon, is under the weather, and I miss her so much. But nevertheless, we have an amazing guest in studio tonight, so really looking forward to our conversation. So we'll go ahead and just jump right on in if that's cool with you. So I am excited to have Pastor Andre C. Barnes, Mr. I'm Just Saying Dre himself in the studio tonight. Very excited. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful.
And Ebony, hope you get well soon. Yeah.
I know I miss her so much when she's not here. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's like my right arm. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Or I'm her
Got you.
right arm anyway.
Got
So
you.
for the folks that are unfamiliar with who you are, give us just a little history into who you are and how you came to be here with us on tonight.
Well, okay, I'm Andre Barnes. I'm from Muskegon, Michigan is my hometown, actually.
Okay.
I'm an implant here and was in Kentucky for 12 years. And kids got older and they said, Dad, you need to go do something. And
Yeah.
somehow God brought me back to the place of my basic training when I was in the military.
Got it.
So I pastored in Bishopville for 4 years.
Okay.
And then I've been knowing Bishop Davis for about 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
We became friends. And he created a position called youth administrator where
Nice.
not the youth pastor, I train pastors. I train and develop youth leaders
Okay.
to be pastors over the various divisions of the youth ministry.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I worked in the school system for a few years, Richland too. Taught character education at the alternative school, Lifewood Academy. So young people are really my passion.
Okay.
You know, I love people, period.
Yeah.
But I dig kind of working with the underdog. So
Love it.
the street people, the other people that belong to God that we just don't know that belong to God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They may not go.
Or
to
we
the
don't
church.
willingly embrace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I was trying to say it kind of. You know,
Oh.
sanitize. Yeah, the people that you think don't belong to God,
Yeah.
them the one I like to hang out with.
Oh.
Yeah, because they show more godly trait than most times.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Than a lot of church people. So.
That is so true, and
Yeah.
that's awesome. So I'm really looking forward to our conversation on tonight. So why don't how did you first get into writing? What led you to writing your first book? I know you're the author of two, but
Yes, ma'am.
what led you to writing your first book?
So to make honestly, when I went to write my first book,
And give us the title. I
the
apologize.
first book is Crippled, but I've got a right to be here.
Crippled, but I've got a right to be
Yeah.
here. Y'all check that out.
Yeah, and it's anointed insight into the crisis of this current culture, dealing with the youth and young adult culture. And I was, moved to write actually because I had a voice, but I wanted it to last longer. You know what I'm saying? I wanted it to last longer and go wider. You know, when people didn't know me, they can know the content.
Absolutely.
Of what I was writing, and that actual book is a story about Mephibosheth. It's Jonathan's son that was dropped by his nanny. She broke her fall, but she broke his legs.
Right.
You know, she landed on him, and was just dealing with a dropped generation. You know, by the adults that should have been taking care of them, and it doesn't dispose of their royalty. They still got a right at the king's table.
Absolutely.
But it was up to somebody to remember that they had a relationship with the king. And so it shows intercession, and it shows the passion of those who, you know, like I said, go after the other people that we don't think belong to God, who were actually at the table before us.
Absolutely.
Jonathan is Saul's son, and actually Mephibosheth is one of the sons of Jonathan. So he was next in line to be king anyway.
Yeah.
But because of something that an adult did, it messed him up. You know.
So how do you think we have to communicate that message today? Because I think we focus a lot more on, underprivileged youth, or troubled youth, or at-risk youth. And so, but there aren't many Pastor Andre Barnes out there who are willing to embrace them and bring them in and sort of remind them of who they are. So how do you think we start to have more of that conversation today?
One, this vehicle, Freethinkers Radio gives us a different venue that, because, in youth ministry per se, there isn't money, even though people make money off of deviant youth.
Oh, sure.
And that's something,
Yeah.
generally in the church world, we throw a few crumbs to the youth ministry because we're not trying to really develop youth ministry. We're just trying to appease the parents, long enough to get the offering. But you have to have deliberate ministry to go after young people, develop their character, and watch this, and share your character flaws with them so they can be open enough to grow, because they see you in your strength but don't know you still have a weakness, and really your misery becomes your ministry.
Yep.
So when you ask me what provoked me to write, is because I didn't have anybody that I could mark as somebody like me.
This time just always go by so fast.
Man, that's good stuff right there. You know what I'm saying?
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I see Sharetta, I see Jermaine, I see Sandra. Hey Darren, Diana. Hey everybody. Are you guys enjoying this conversation? I see some comments. If people are like they're excited. So that's awesome. Yeah.
It's cool.
I love this Facebook Live vehicle. I love being on Freethinkers Radio too, but this Facebook Live vehicle is just absolutely amazing.
And then when they share it, that's when it goes out and you get so many views. And then when you partner, I have my my show on Freethinkers as well. So us partnering together, we're saying that we appreciate each other's vein of work.
Absolutely.
Because when it comes to Ebony, man, I'm so marvel at her work.
That's my girl. You know what I'm saying?
Her voice.
Yeah.
And then just some of the topics that she touched. I deal kind of more with the like I said, the other subjects that many people don't want to touch. So and she deals maybe with the subjects more that we need to touch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Makes a difference.
But we have our own lane.
Oh yeah,
and we respect-
absolutely.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I'm just trying to say we fitted for each other, that's all. Besides, if I didn't wear a cap, when you cook, clean, Converse, work, make love like no other woman do.
I just love hearing the new poets that I've been exposed to since being on the show, people that I've never heard of,
Right. And see, that's a skill set too. So I would use an Ebony to come in like for summer camp, or either for the camp you and I we're going to do down in Bishopville,
Okay.
and teach poetry, or Chris Darnell, the art of writing music.
Right.
He switched the concept from I had him switch it because Bishop wasn't really hearing that rap stuff. So I like, dude, give me another name. Go get me another name.
Yeah.
And he came up with the lyrical evangelist.
Lyrical evangelist.
It's still rap. I don't give
Right.
care, but that in and
Whatever
of itself,
works.
yeah. And then I like the fact that this vehicle gives us the opportunities to share our voices in our own lane.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And for you to say you wasn't necessarily ready for it, prepared rather.
Yeah, I'm a talker,
but you are.
though.
Yeah.
I'm a talker.
And
I
you
think
know how
it's
to
because-
vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everything is about the vibe.
Yeah,
Like, you gotta
yeah.
get it, because everything can't be pre-programmed and all of that. But it's good to be prepared. And I'm not saying
Absolutely.
that, but you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Like, it's just good to just flow in the spirit of conversation.
And I think that comes from,
Hey,
like I
Dwayne.
said, we'd already touched each other
Right,
before.
right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
Even if it's just being in the same setting at the time. And what we took our not knowing each other to, I met you. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And
yep.
we discovered it. And
Yep.
Yeah.
And we are back. That was 500 Words by Geronimo Speaks. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
So when we left, Pastor Andre, we were talking about your first book. So let's move into talking about book number 2. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, book number 2, the title of it is kind of long, but I'll deal with it. Can't Go Back, Can't Stay Here, What's Up Over There? And that's the title of the book.
Can't go back,
Can't
can't
go
stay
back,
here.
Can't Stay Here.
What's up over
What's
there?
up over there?
Okay, so explain that.
Okay, and it deals with the changing face of leadership in the body of Christ.
Okay.
And I use the 4 leopards. Most in the scriptures,
Okay.
Samuel or Kings, the 4 leopards,
Mm-hmm.
and they were outside the city. You know, they had been put out
Right.
outside the city, and leprosy was a sin, a disease of the skin, and
Right.
you know everybody could look at you and see what was wrong with you,
Right,
so
right,
they
right.
outcast you.
Yeah.
And while they were outcast, the city or the church was surrounded by Syrian forces.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the Syrian forces was trying to keep the church inside the walls. Don't you come out, and we're not letting nothing come in.
Right.
Y'all turn on yourselves.
Right.
And the Bible flips and says, because of the famine that was in the church,
Mm-hmm.
people were eating donkey's head. The King James Version
Right,
used
right,
another
right.
word, donkey's head, dove's dung, and their children.
Yeah.
So the church is inside, being forced in by political correctness, told you stay inside the walls. But Elijah gets a prophetic word and said, by this time tomorrow, there's going to be meat in the house of the Lord.
Right.
The people in the church didn't hear it.
Right.
The leopards that had been put out. And the leopards get this unction, and they says, why sit we here until we die?
Right.
Watch this. If we go back into the city,
Right.
we die.
Right.
If we stay here, we die also.
Right.
Let's go into the enemy's
Right.
camp.
Yeah.
And if they kill us, we was going to die anyway.
Right. Right. So
there's-
nothing to lose.
There's a generation when you don't have nothing to lose, you ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
So you go for it.
Right.
Can't go back. Can't stay here.
What's up over there?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I love that your titles are not the norm.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And that they are a conversation piece.
Got you.
So that people can really, because I think everything is about more and it's deeper and it's not about what you see on the surface. And so because of that, you know, it allows you and I to sit here at this table tonight and have this conversation and say, hey, you know, tell me about that.
Right.
And it makes absolute sense. And what's interesting is that oftentimes when we are so close to a situation, we can't see it,
Gotcha.
right? In the case of the lepers. So, but sometimes it takes people on the outside
Yeah.
to really sort of,
Right.
you know, open our minds or to see what's, you know, help us to see sort of the bigger picture and
That's
what's
good.
really happening.
That's
you know
good,
what I mean?
Tamika. That's
And
good.
so I just,
good. That's
that's
good.
just really interesting that you said that, because sometimes we're so close to a situation that we can't see it.
Now be mindful, the people inside the church or
Yeah.
inside Samaria
in the
thought they were no good.
Of course.
Watch this. The enemy thought they was no good till they went to sleep on them.
Right.
And when they showed up in their schools, when they showed up starting their business, when they showed up getting their houses, when they showed up and they took off running in the night, because God made the sound of 4 dirty men
Yeah.
with 8 footsteps. 4 is divine creativity.
I'm telling
8
you.
is the number of new beginnings.
Yes.
So as they begin to move toward their new destiny, the enemy that they feared had gone to sleep. And because it was in the night, they took off running in panic and
Listen.
left everything.
Listen.
Yeah, it's our time. Yeah, it's a changing face of leadership. That's what it
Listen,
is.
I mean, and that is so, that's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
that's absolutely amazing.
Thank
Like, I
you.
really, there's just so much right there, but I just, because sometimes people will sleep on you.
Yes, what?
Sometimes people won't sleep on you if you're not in a clique.
Yeah,
Right, if you're
and if
not
they
in a
know your
clique.
past.
Oh, yes.
See, remember,
Yes,
it
yes,
was
yes.
leprosy was a skin disease,
Right.
but most of us got sin disease.
Right.
And when people know your stuff, they
Yes.
think that you're disqualified because they would disqualify you,
Absolutely.
and you would probably disqualify you.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that God won't give you an unction
I'm telling
to
you.
move.
Listen,
Yeah.
let me tell you something.
Come on.
I always tell people that I can always speak about what I've been through.
Come on.
I can speak about what I've done. I can speak about what I've been a part of, because I don't give the enemy any room to hold the trump card
don't
on
own me.
to
Yeah.
throw something on the table and say, oh, well, wait a minute, Tamika, what about this?
I already
Because
told
if
you.
I tell my stuff, then
on
he
now.
don't have nothing over me.
Don't that take all the bite out of backbiting? It took all the play out of player hating, don't it?
It does, but
Hold up. Did you know that Andre used to be?
Yeah,
Yes. Well,
he
how
did.
you know?
'Cause he
Ooh, who
told
told you? He told you. Bam. You know, just take it right on out.
Listen, I'm just telling you, that is just so. It is just that's amazing. But
That's
yeah,
what's up.
that whole sleeping on you and this
Yeah.
topic of haters and this and that. I don't
Yeah.
give you any room to hold anything, because I'm not ashamed. Right, my past was used to propel me to where
Yeah,
I'm going. I
yeah.
needed it. Right.
No, it's a must. It designs us. It
Right.
develops us if we maximize it. If you learn
Yes.
from the past and learn the lessons of the past, and people would ask me often, well, what would you do to change your life? If you could change anything in your life, what would you change? And I say it and I mean it, nothing.
Yeah.
Because to change one thing would alter the course of
Yes.
where I am right now today. And right now, it may not be where I want to be, but I'm not
Yeah.
where I was.
Absolutely.
And I'm on my way somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And life is about forward movement.
That's
And
it.
it's about, you talked about divine creativity and new beginnings. Like, it's about this continual process of growth and evolution. Like,
Of
we
self.
have to, exactly.
Yeah, that's
We
what's up.
have to be moving to our next level. So let me do these writing tips and get them out the way
That's
so
what's
we can get back into our conversation, because this is so amazing. So everybody, tonight I am giving you 3 ways that you can, let me just back up, 3 post book writing marketing tips. 3 post book writing marketing tips, right? So the first is live streaming. Exactly what we're doing here tonight on the Freethinkers radio page is we are live streaming our behind the scenes radio. We're pulling you into our in the studio experience so that you are in here with us real time. So don't negate the value of live streaming. Of course, we know that content is king, but video is queen, right? Video is queen. So always make sure that you are leveraging the power of the internet. So that's point number 1. Number 2, book tours. Think about book tours, whether live or virtual, right? Again, so much of our world is connected through technology and through the interwebs. So there is much that we can do without leaving our homes. So don't, negate live or virtual book tours, or virtual or video interviews, or Facebook Lives, or Periscope, or YouTube Live, or write-ups on a blog, or featured on somebody's video blog, so there are lots of opportunities and ways that you can really sort of get yourself out there. And then the third and final way is through live events. Yes, much of our world is digital. There is a lot that we can do virtually, but still there is a place for a live event. There's still a place for traditional media. So get yourself in front of your audience as much as possible, even if that means that you have to start off on someone else's platform before you have the influence and the leverage to launch your own. So don't negate the power of live events. So let's quick review: live streaming, book tours, and live events, which means that you should be speaking about the content that's found on the pages of your book, right? You took the time, you invested in yourself, you invested in the resources, you found a quality editor. Now go out and talk to people about it. So add speaking, make sure that you are adding speaking to your platform. Sound good?
I have a question.
Yes.
Content is king.
But video is queen.
Come on, talk to me. you didn't see me writing all that down?
I saw
Come on, man. I'm a student.
I saw that. Listen,
Yeah.
content is king, but
like
video
that.
is queen, because, video trumps content.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because I can
Feel
you-
me, hear
yeah.
me, taste,
and it's
yeah,
that
touch me.
energy, it's
Yeah.
that whole, just everything is transferring. You can read my words, as we opened with. Books, I believe books are a part of our living legacy.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah,
Not
you
our
wanna-
legacy
yeah.
once we have passed on, but it's our living legacy. Like you mentioned, our words have a global reach, right?
Right.
And even what I've been able to do personally, and you yourself with our books, it just expands who we are. And we have arms and legs and places that we may never touch before
Right.
we leave this earth.
Right.
And so that's really a blessing. So if you had to give advice.
I just want to say one other thing
Please.
I think is so powerful
Yeah,
about what you said is, if you do the video,
Yeah.
now I've had people literally tell me, because they've heard me preach, they've heard me speak,
Right.
they can hear my voice when they're reading. So
That's what you want.
that's powerful.
But the thing is, that's what you want. And I always tell writers is that it's important for you to feel emotion as you are writing.
Yeah.
And the reason is because you want the reader to experience the exact same thing that you experience. You want them to feel as if they were in the room with you, watching you, observing you. If you're crying, they should be crying, right?
Absolutely.
If you're happy, they should be happy. If you're at a scene in your book and you're laughing, they should be laughing as well. So there needs to be emotion that can be felt coming on the pages. I need to be able to hear your voice per se.
Awesome.
So that, we can be connected, because that's what it's all about. I'm sharing my story to help and empower you, but I also want to establish a connection with you, a relationship with you.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you had to give one piece of advice to an aspiring author, especially men, because I think men have a lot of untold stories. There's so much that men don't say that's on the inside of them, that if they're fortunate enough like you and they know their voice and they've been able to find it, then they know how powerful it is to share it. But for those that are walking around with untold stories on the inside of them, what do you say to them? How do you encourage them to really release that?
Writing is a very intimate thing. It's easy to speak, yell, scream.
Sure.
But writing requires contemplation, inner searching of yourself to be able to share real time or realistically,
Right.
but with truth.
Yes.
And so when you're writing, my first book was so unorthodox because I wrote it in 21 days.
Okay.
I worked in the school system.
Yeah.
I got a prophetic word. The first time I wrote it, somebody hit a button and deleted 9 chapters.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
You know what I'm saying? But 3 years later,
Yeah.
I'm speaking at a conference.
Yeah.
And I get a prophetic word right now, immediately. It was during the summertime. I worked in the school system.
Yeah, so you had time.
So I get up in the morning,
Yeah.
go to the gym, come home, shower, and write 8 hours a day.
Love it.
Like I was at work.
Love it.
And took my weekends off. And I finished it in 21 days
Yeah.
of writing. It took them longer to edit because I wouldn't let them remove my content. Because
Yeah.
I wrote my freshman book. My first
Yeah.
piece was very much in my voice, very
Yeah.
much in the way I speak.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
I know you want to correct it, but it's to a culture.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's, crippled, but I've got a right to be here. And you see the cover of it. And the cover was an attention grabber.
Yeah.
But it just permitted me to be free. Actually, in the closing, in the third person, the person I was interviewing was Mephibosheth. But by the end, he was interviewing me.
Love it.
And he was asking me, how did I know what questions to ask? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I told him, this is why I can ask you certain
Yeah.
questions. Because the difference between you and I is your name is written in the Bible,
Yeah.
but I'm a product of being dropped. Yeah.
Listen, that is so powerful.
Thank you.
I am sitting here like, wow.
That's powerful coming from you because I've watched the interviews and no, real talk, because when you have a skill set,
Yeah.
and you just have a gift, you
Yeah.
don't know where it came from,
Yeah.
it's God gave it to
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
and you didn't go to school for formal,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So when you sit next to one that does this,
Yeah.
this is your business,
Absolutely.
and you say, when you read it, you would probably be like, especially since
Yeah,
you can hear your digs, and because I put all of that in there,
I love it. I love it.
And it was written for the current culture, so it was written more in their language.
Yeah.
Cant Go Back was more a mature book for spiritual leadership. Yeah.
So how do you broach some of these? Like, what gives you the boldness to broach some of these topics that you're talking about? What gives you sort of the audacity to really step out into arenas that most would shy away from? Where do you get that from?
Well, I'm being honest with you. I'm the middle child. I'm the middle boy.
Oh,
Okay, we on the break.
yeah.
Okay.
God, we got to come back with
Got
that.
you.
I'm a
Okay.
middle child too. Is that whole middle child syndrome? But I was like, that's not true. But you know what? I kind of think it is.
Yeah. Especially, when, I guess we'll pick it back up when we
Yeah,
come home. But especially when, I was the child that could tell mama that wasn't right. And I can get popped or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I could tell my mom or dad that ain't right, and they can hit me or punish me, who are you? You know what I'm saying? Who's the next person? So, out of that even gave me a voice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not as a rebel, but I respect my parents, you know, but some things weren't right.
Right.
And, you know, it affected my big brothers or, you know, my sister that was older than me, and it affected the baby.
Yeah.
And I guess my personality, you know, if I had 7 fights in my life, 5 were for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right. Hey, AC, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Sharetta, for taking those notes and scribing for me. I appreciate it. Hey, Dwayne, I don't know if I said hello to you. Thank you guys so much for watching and sharing. We appreciate it.
they see the future.
AC, the future remnant in the making. I love it. I love it. I love to see my people just growing and thriving. It's absolutely amazing. So,
that I can distribute as jewels.
When I start to speak, you'll hear just what he means to me. I never thought he would be everything. The words I paint will show you his reflection.
are you working on book 3?
Well, actually, I've got the concept last year,
Oh,
but
sweet.
it's called Shadow Leadership.
Oh, we're moving into leadership.
Yeah, it's called Shadow Leadership.
Okay.
When I'm talking about shadow leadership, there's a picture that they capture of Bishop and I. We was talking to the young adults.
Okay.
He's prominent in the forefront,
Right.
and I'm right in the shadow. A lot of people don't respect shadow, but if you're in the shadow, that means there's a sun shining.
That's right.
Hello. So shadow leadership means I don't mind being in the
I
shadow
know.
of greatness.
Listen.
You know what I mean? When Moses went up on the mountain, they said,
Yes.
and his servant Joshua was with him. So while God is telling Moses and writing with his finger,
That's
Joshua's in the cut.
That's right.
Oh, come on now. I ain't got to have a top seat. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, because there's still
You know
a place
what?
and there's still a room.
And listen, I think Batman had his Robin, you know.
Yeah. Everybody got sidekick,
The
right?
Lone Ranger had it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Elijah had his Elisha.
Yeah.
But the purpose of it is that stuff got to go to somebody.
Yep.
Call it what you want. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm just dealing with that transition of not being afraid to be in the second or third or fourth seat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I know, and I remember my pastor one time talking about the power of being second, and I think there is just, especially in the context of leadership, you want to have someone that you can sort of look up to, right?
Yeah.
You need to have a model, a mentor, somebody like that. And we are back. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could hear the conversation we've been having on the break. But if you're catching us on Facebook Live, you're definitely privy to that. That was Reflection by the Baby Jumper. So before we went out, Pastor Andre, we were talking about the untold stories in men, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so pick us up from where we left off.
You were asking me what gives me the courage
The audacity,
to write,
yes.
right,
Mm-hmm.
to write certain things. And I was sharing with you, I'm the middle child, the middle son. And I've always been a voice for, you know, I guess when the firstborn, you make all your mistakes.
Yeah.
The middle son, you try to fix them. The baby,
Yeah.
you spoil.
Right.
So somewhere in there's a voice for everybody.
Yeah.
And I've just been part of my personality. And even my style of ministry is
Yeah.
for those that don't have a voice.
Right.
Jesus said, I have other sheep that are not of this fold. In other words, I got other people that belong to me that ain't in your church.
Right.
Well, you know, I even dug, was it Tupac that said, you know,
Okay.
wondered if heaven had a ghetto,
Yeah.
or a place for the ghetto.
Yeah.
So a lot of people offended with that. He was just saying, is there a place for anybody that's real?
right.
Is there
That's
a place
right.
for anybody that really got some issues
That's
going on?
right. That's
and so
right.
I write from that concept. I had a person tell me, I helped them write a book,
Mm-hmm.
and then they saw me write my book. And I was in relationship with their ex, and they looked at my book and said, your book is better than mine. You know, your book don't sell more than mine. My words were, my audience is bigger than yours.
Yeah.
You wrote yours for church people. I wrote mine for real people.
Listen.
Real people outnumber church people, even though there's some real
Any
people
day.
in the church
Right.
and out. You know what I mean? So
Right.
my audience was bigger.
Yeah.
So when we were talking about what you do, when we
Yeah.
were talking about if there's a demand for it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're talking about the vibration of the spirit,
That's right.
there's a place for my voice.
That's right.
And so when I write, it gives other men, you know, believe this or not, to make it takes a man to give another man
Oh,
permission to
absolutely.
feel, to hurt, to
Absolutely.
cry.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
to repent, to change.
Yes.
It takes a man.
It does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I believe
you know,
that.
your woman can tell you, your wife could tell you, it's okay to cry, but if another man gives you permission and says, nah, that don't make you no punk, you are a man. Real men do cry.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, it's the fool that don't cry.
Right.
He hits his woman and make her cry for him.
Right.
That's called a punk there. You know what I mean?
Right,
That's called domestic violence.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, because he can't cry.
Exactly.
And
so he makes her cry.
So we give them permission to breathe emotionally.
Yeah.
And you asked earlier, what about writing? What does it do? It's therapeutic for one.
Yeah.
And if men can see their words on paper,
Oh gosh.
that's why some of the rappers are so hot. You might not like what they're saying in there, but it's the passion of my reality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's the power of the pen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That when you put pen to paper, it's just like when we talk about our goals.
Yeah.
Like we can dream it, but until we see it, and it becomes real when we see it, because then we have something tangible that we can touch and say, okay, by June 30th, I want to make sure that this happens. And so it's the power in the pen. We can take that passion, that emotion that we're feeling, and we can put it onto the paper that's forgiving, that doesn't judge, that takes everything that we have and holds it in until an editor comes and slices it nicest. You know what I mean?
Scribble on it and
right,
everything,
and it's okay, and it's okay. And so I think that there is that forgiveness in writing.
Thank you for teaching me that. I didn't know that.
Oh.
That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
I learned again. Thank you.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
that's what it is. Thank you.
But before we go, why don't you tell our listeners and our viewers how they can connect with you when your show is airing next?
Okay, my show is I'm Just Saying Dre. We come on Tuesday nights. I think at 6 sometime, but then I come on Wednesday sometime on Facebook Live.
Just make sure you're watching.
Facebook Live, yeah. So but that's the medium, and we're looking to do another show with some other brothers.
Oh, nice.
We're piloting some thoughts right now, but if they wanted to make contact, I'm on Facebook, of course. Andre C. Barnes Part 2, and then Andre C. Barnes. And then I have my website, www.imjustsayingdre.com, www.imjustsayingdre.com. And if they wanted to order the books, they can go to the website. You can order them from Faith Printing, and their number is 217-675-2191. And I'll explain to you.
Y'all get that.
I'll explain to you 217-675-2191. And the reason that they have to order them directly from the printer, they advanced me some books, and I gave them all away almost. And so in order for them to make their money back, instead of taking me to court, and they knew that they would sell. Sure. So I told them, I haven't even checked. I'm probably caught up. But I hadn't even checked because they dealt with me gracefully.
That's right.
And I didn't have the heart, I needed somebody in business to move my product. Because, when they catch me, I just finish preaching.
Right.
I'm on the book. And you didn't give your product
my
away.
Light bill. Right.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Right.
So we're in the phase now where I think we about caught up, and you won't have to call the printer. I'll have my own in stock soon. But that's the way they worked with me, because they believed in what I was.
Awesome.
What I had to offer.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
We done?
We're done. I know, right? But thank you so much for being here. You've been an amazing guest. It's been an honor to be in your presence again. It's been a while.
Thank you.
More than a year, I guess, at this point. But just honored, life comes full circle. And so, we'll see. The next time, maybe we'll be a guest on your show, and we can come in and have a different sort of conversation. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. And we will see you next week.
That's powerful. Did you just do that?
I did.
Yeah, you did that.
Are we good, Dave?